Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me here today. Appreciate you tuning in. If you will, like, share, comment on the post, and then if you would like, you may join me in the book of Colossians, chapter 3, beginning in verse 12. About a month behind there. Colossians chapter 3, verse number 12. Paul says, "Put on then, like putting on your clothes, as God's chosen ones, holy and beloved, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, and if one has a complaint against another, forgiving each other as the Lord has forgiven you, so you also must forgive. And above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony." One of the images that Paul uses several times is this idea of putting on the clothing of a believer. What a believer wears. If you were trying to find your spouse, if you were in the shopping center and you got separated from your spouse, you'd probably tell them she's he, she, whatever, 5 foot tall, 6 foot tall. He's got on a brown pair of pants and a white shirt. She's got on a green blouse and a blue skirt. You describe their clothing to them, the part that you can see, and that's what Paul is talking about here. The part that the world sees in us, they should see in us compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, bearing with one another, forgiving, and love. That is the list, all these characteristics, and that he describes this. And he says, above all these things, we put on love, because he says that's the perfect bond of unity. That's what holds it all together. There's some ladies, I think sometimes they don't maybe think they're if they're getting dressed up, they're not completely dressed until they accessorize, till they put on their earrings or their necklace or their rings. For a lot of especially in older days for men, the tie. That was what put whatever suit on you want, but the tie or the cufflinks. That was what really. I think about my grandfather and his hat. That just kind of brought the whole outfit together. I know where I used to buy my clothes. Place out of business now. I may tell you something, but more than once I've been trying and putting together a suit and tie and all, and the lady I always dealt with will say, "Yeah, now that brings it all together. That's right there what sets it off." And she may be talking about the tie or something, some cufflinks or something that went with it. That sets it off. That brings it together. If you have all these things up here, compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, all those things, he says, but it's love that brings those all together. How do you forgive without love? How do you be kind without love? How can you be meek without love? How can you be compassionate without love? And so he tells us that all these things are important, but all of them are held together. I think really by two things that Paul mentions here. He says we forgive because we know we've been forgiven. And once we know we've been forgiven and we've been loved and Christ has forgiven us, then we forgive and we love others. Let that be our clothing. Compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, and patience, bearing with one another, forgiving one another, and most of all, loving one another. If you were missing and they were describing you, how would they do it? How would we find you? If somebody said that, here's his description, here's what you need to look for. Would it be compassionate hearts, kindness, humility, meekness, patience, forgiveness, love? That should be the clothing of a believer. Is it ours? Have a great day. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.